Standing on the burning ride. Welcome in here, out there, wherever you may be. My name's Zazakel. I'm joined here by Abba Trombone, and we are getting ready for the winners final between A Little Piece of Heaven and OverGeared. Winner of this will go on to the grand finals in 2 weeks for the Risen Esports Draft League. Trombone, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine here. Excited for this final matchup right now. We'll have to see who's going to be carrying into grand finals in this best of three. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's definitely, loser is not technically out. They will still have another shot next week in the losers bracket finals. And so we could see a rematch of these two teams depending on what's going on. But we are just going to hop directly into the draft as we have A Little Piece of Heaven going on blue side and OverGeared will be on red. We could see already a meta pick taken out in the Jarvan and perhaps a bit more of a off meta pick being hovered right now as Tryndamere is taken off the board.
Yeah, J4's been pretty popular from the games I've casted recently. He's either been pick banned for the most part. And, if OG's trying to go for this split push strategy with a nice strong top laner, or doesn't want to go against it, I should say that because they banned it, that certainly makes sense. It can be a pretty nasty strategy to deal with in some scenarios.
I hate Cassante right now. Get that out of here. I am so glad we are not getting Cassante. So I've been a jungler all season long. I've recently swapped back to top lane for the last couple weeks or so, and I've gone up against so many Cassantes that it is actually making me want to cry. I hate this champion.
Fun fact.
I'm so glad he's out.
Fun fact about Cassante, they ended up quote unquote fixing his Hextech Flash bug where you could just go through the W by not letting him take Hex Flash.
They're changing it to now it's going to force him to take magical footwear. Yeah. So you literally cannot go Hex Flash on Cassante anymore. But the final bans coming through in the Echo and the Aurelion Soul. So quite a few mid lane bans targeted here as the Zillion was dropped as well. And it's going to be very, very common flex pick in the Rel taken here for A Little Piece of Heaven up here on blue side.
Yeah, Rel's pretty good right now. There's a lot of champions you can pair with, and in more organized play, her ability to roam into other lanes, potentially like a mid lane, could be pretty potent as well. Now, it looks like they'll probably be going up against this Braum who can help defend against that. I don't think he's going to be quite as good at roaming because he's not on a high steed or anything, but he can still help provide a lot of those CC tools. Yeah. Yeah,
but it could also be the Rel is gearing more towards the jungle. I know that Rel jungle has been gaining quite a lot of popularity in that flex pick, and Braum, obviously a counter to a lot of engaged supports, kind of makes me wonder if that Rel will actually be going up more towards that jungle. But here we go with Skarner, definitely a rare pick in today's League of Legends. But shout out to Captain Flowers, Skarner's picked up here for PG.
I am always excited when I see picks you don't typically see. Skarner is not one you typically see, and this is where you get to give the enemy team a little bit of a quiz. It's like, all right, do you know how to play against Skarner? You probably know how to play against the meta picks, but how about Skarner? No one plays Skarner, so if you're not prepared with his sort of strategy, it can be a little bit harder because you don't have the necessary game plan as developed. You haven't played, thousands of games against him. You're gonna have to cook in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. And this looks like they're on the other side. Alph is gearing up for what looks like a Yasuo combo here. We already got knockups in the Rel, now with the Diana coming through. I spoke too soon. It's going to be Ezreal up here in the bot lane.
It's still a threat, right? If Alpha plays Yasuo, it still goes well with their synergy. Of course, Ezreal can also use his mid-game power spike to help with this combo that's happening, that Alpha's cooking, this Wombo combo comp, which does make things a little bit more difficult for OG. OG could respond with it as well because they have that Braum. They won't have as many knockups for it, but it's an interesting pick for them to go with. We'll have to see if they do end up going for that ban.
We will see here as it's Jinx that is picked up as the final AD carry. I still think one of the strongest AD carries on the patch. I think the only one that beats her out right now is Xayah. So I think definitely picking up the Jinx, very, very potent here for the side of OG. They're going to take out the Darius, and on the response on the other side is a Sylas ban.
Yep, Silas makes sense. There's some pretty nasty Osa steals.
Yeah, we don't want
Having him
Silas getting scarred or getting scarred
at
to bring
top
them back.
lane.
So
Top lane is
that would
getting
be,
a lot of bans right now. What, four with
mhm.
Trendemir, Darius, Aatrox, and then of course Cassante on there as well.
Yeah. As of
Really
right now,
pretty good.
Select the Rock, who is the top laner for A Little Piece of Heaven, is their highly ranked player or highest ranked player in Diamond 4. So it
Mm.
makes a lot of sense to try and target some of his more comfort picks, getting on something that he's um, perhaps not played quite as much as they take out the Darius and the Aatrox. So we will see what Sonic is looking to pick into that, but they are going to have to blind something here on red side. OG locking in the most broken mid laner for the last several patches. You've seen her at Worlds so many times. It's Orianna.
Yep. Oriana's ability to have a lot of range and zone control is going to really help with this team. If you think about Braum, he can help with that for any engagements, and then Oriana can peel things away. Skarner can go in deep and be a great ball delivery service with his movement speed. And then, of course, Jinx is just there to minigun you down with their new passive.
Absolutely. We will see. Okay, so it is indeed Diana jungle. I was thinking maybe they are looking to flex that towards the mid lane, but it is Syndra picked up in response to that Oriana. I think that's one of the most common matchups
Hmm.
in mid lane as of right now. And the final pick for the top laner, Sonic the Rock. He had 3 champions banned against him. What is he going to blind into this matchup into DJ Techno?
They
They're
don't.
waiting till the very end. They're deciding for 3, 2, 1. Garen.
Garen.
Not a very popular competitive pick, but we have seen it at Worlds. Uh, we will see how it's going to be piloted here by Sonic the Rock.
Yeah, they were kind of forced into something that would be a little bit more tankier, being Rel is their only real front line versus OG has some two big thick boys. So we'll have to see what this counter pickup for OG is going to be. Are we going to see the meme Timo, or are we going to see this like sick nasty Ornn? It looks like it's going to be Ornn.
Yeah, not a very common counter pick, I will have to say. Ornn probably one of the most blindable top
Mhm.
laners in the game. So definitely feels a bit of a wasteful counter pick here, but obviously got to pick up a bit of extra tankiness on this side. Let their damage dealers really let loose here for OG. Uh, I think maybe leaning a bit too much on the tankiness for the side of OG, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you can get your carries off the ground running.
Yeah, it looks like OG's strategy with Jinx and Ornn is to be just very long game here, scale up, get those ornaments onto the champions that need them, specifically Oriana and Jinx. Try and get these big carries to go for it. And it kind of makes sense, being their mid laner and bot laner are the highest ranked on their team. So I think they'll get some pretty good value out of it. That being said, they're going to have to deal with Elf's mid game prowess here. Ezreal's going to be pretty strong. Diana's going to be strong. And of course, you've got a Garen on there as well, who also is pretty good into the mid game. 2 items, and he's going to be pretty strong
I am
compared
so
to a lot of
glad
these
they
camps.
also nerfed the phase rush Garen because
Oh,
that was annoying to deal with. Like
yeah.
he's able to spin, take out the wave, and just run away faster than
Yeah.
I think any other character in the game. Was just not a cool situation to be in. So maybe
Yeah.
leaning more towards the Conqueror here for the side for Sonic the Rock, but we will definitely see what he
Well,
chooses to play into this matchup here.
there's an argument for Grasp as well, for like a little bit of a wet noodle fight versus Ornn. Ornn does do a little bit more damage for the brittle procs. So it'd be kind of a short versus long matchup if he goes for a Conqueror. But if he goes for that Grasp, he can do some of those trades a little bit better versus Ornn, which I think might favor him a bit better. I'm not a top laner though, so
Mhm.
I could be very wrong in that.
No, you're 100% right. It's just a matter of for Garen playing around his silence is the most important aspect
Hmm.
of this lane. I feel like a lot of people, me when I first got into top lane, me included, really undervalued how powerful that silence can be. So if you're able to, negate a lot of Ornn's damages, which is primarily through his abilities in the brittle procs, you can play around that silence, and Garen should be able to get some free trades off. Obviously, with an Ornn, you're not necessarily looking to win to stomp your opponent. That's not what you want or need
No.
necessarily. when you Pick Ornn. You're looking to scale, you're looking to buff your team, you're looking for that hard engage. You don't need solo kills in order to carry on Ornn. So I think that's kind of what they are looking for, to put Techno onto something a little safer, so they can try to negate this top half of the map, which is the strongest, as far as rank wise, the strongest part of Alf's game.
Yep, pretty safe, can peel for himself, like you said, has that unstoppable proc as well to help get out of danger if he times it right. And, he just got to sit there and get his golden XP.
Yeah,
And worst
absolutely.
case scenario, just sit there with the XP, get his ornaments, and his job is effectively done. Because even if he's not able to like tank things for everyone, they still have a Braum whose shield will just do percent block, which will
They
just
have a lot of pick potential. I am looking now in this roster here with the Skarner, with the Ornn, long range engage. You're caught out uh in a bad situation. The amount of collapse that could come, long range engage from the Brob, which could be followed up by a Skarner ulting you back into their team.
yeah, and you
Excuse me.
can't even arcane shift out of the Skarner ult as well.
Hmm.
That's what makes it super deadly for him. And it's like it's one of Ezreal's pitfalls, in my opinion, is people will think, "Hey, I'm Ezreal, I'm safe. I got arcane shift and whatnot." So they'll play more dangerously, forgetting that they weren't supposed to be able to do that to begin with. So we'll have to
Hmm.
see how aggressively or defensively they use that. That being said, Jinx is kind of famous for her not strong laning phase.
Yeah.
So
We will
yeah.
have to see. The thing is, this is a very late game scaling team, which
Hmm.
is, my opinion, a little bit rough into the comp that they are up against here, because a little slice of heaven have so many tools to really push their advantages in the mid game with the Diana ultimates, with the
Hmm.
Rel, with the Garen. Like, these are going to be characters that are strong in the mid game, and if they can push any advantages that they have, it's going to be a very, very tough situation for OG. But the problem is, if Alf does not do that, OG has the late game. Like,
Yeah.
bar none. So it's just a matter of how both these teams play around their power spikes, play around their item spikes, in order to give themselves the best advantage. So we did have a little bit of a delay. We do apologize. The teams have finally gotten into the client draft, so we will be hopping into the game here just in a very short time. So I am curious to hear from you, Trombone. Based on excluding the teams, like, don't think about
Mhm.
rank, don't think about, obviously these two teams have been very successful making it all the way to the winners finals, but just looking at the drafts here, who do you think has the advantage going into this game?
Well, a lot of what's going to be the determining factor here, if we're thinking about the draft in a vacuum, is the laning phase. And I usually don't like thinking, well, what's just the lane matchups? Because that's a bit reductive. But if you can't get to the late game, that doesn't really help you out there. The laning phase is the only thing that's guaranteed. Mid game could just be the end. So
Mhm.
I don't think this Braum Jinx combo is going to have the best. Ezreal can wave clear just a little bit faster and healthier, and can stay a little bit safer, so they can get some pressure and some roams there as well in the mid lane. I think it's going to be a little bit more tied up, and then of course in the top side they have a little bit more of an advantage. And I think this is going to be enough pressure on OG. If they slip a little too much, it'll be pretty rough for them in the mid game. But if they're able to hold on tight at all, it's probably just going to be OG all the way, especially considering the fact that I've seen games being going later and later. I used to see them at like 27, like 32 minutes, somewhere between there. Now it's like 35 minutes at least for a
Mhm.
lot of these draft games.
Absolutely. The longer the game goes, the better position OG will be in. So I think the onus is, like, as you said, entirely on Alf. If they can push their leads in the mid game, they should be in a very good position. Ezreal, if he gets ahead of the Jinx, will be a major player much earlier in the game than the opposite way, right? So definitely, you have to think like some early objectives will be going the side of Alf, but we will have to see when the game actually starts. We are just getting into the spectator delay right now, so before we head to a quick break, I do now take everything into the account. Take account these two teams. Who do you have winning? Prediction wise, who do you have winning game one here?
I think OG will still be able to take the cake when I think of it this way. I think they've got some pretty strong carries, and they've got a lot of peel potential for their carries to be able to do their job.
All right, fair enough. We got a vote for OG. I famously always get predictions wrong. So whoever I predict will always end up losing whenever I cast. I don't I did like 9 in a row at one point, and every single one of them was wrong. So I am abstaining from predictions. We will just go with Trombone as predicted OG to win game 1. But of course, anything can happen here. It is, in fact, the winners' finals. We are going to be heading to a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We have game 1 between OverGeared and a little piece of heaven coming at you. Don't go anywhere.
And we
Welcome everybody back to Summoner's Rift. We have winners finals, OG on red side, Alf on blue. It looks like we might get up to some level 1 shenanigans here, as both of these teams are looking for some 5-man invades here. But unfortunately, they're going in different spots. Come on, guys. The one time both teams decide to invade, you go through different entrances.
It's
That
the
is
Scholar portal, of course. I do think, though, that blue side would probably win this out. They've got the stronger level 1 with their AD carry.
Oh, that we could have had some fun level 1s for once. I feel like in comp, it is so rare, but
it's not over yet.
It's not. We could see something here. Oh no, they would have seen. Yeah, they would have seen the. I feel like they're just gonna run away at this point. That's 2 Scar portals for the red team. So I think technically I'll win out, as they are slightly ahead in gold. Laissez-faire will get some damage off the Zeph. The ghost is hidden, and Zeph forced to flash out. So definitely OG with the early game play is gaining an advantage here before the minions even spawn.
Yeah, that's a pretty good advantage for them forcing that flash out, especially on the jungler, someone who's going to be pretty mobile here as well. They are going to be a little bit later for the laning phase here, so like that is going to be getting some solo XP because their support Laissez-faire stayed up there as well, which could put them in a little bit more danger than they might like and could make the wave push a little bit more awkward. Darson should be able to harass them a little bit more with the push, and it's just going to be a little bit awkward for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you like that on the Jinx, not really going to have a significant way to really fight this, as we finally see Laissez-faire arriving into that bot lane. Meanwhile, some trades going up here in top lane. As I said, that silence can be very, very deadly. Sonic the Rock getting a decent trade off, and with that Garen passive, will be able to hopefully gain a lot of that health back if he is able to avoid damage coming out from DJ Techno.
Yeah, interestingly enough, went with the Dorian's Blade rather than the shield for any of the Ornn poke. A sick trade happening to the top side from Techno.
Do not ever underestimate Ornn's damage. He is the assassin, mage, tank, bruiser. What else haven't I said? Engage, disengage. He can do whatever you need him to do. So do not underestimate his damage. He, just like Cassante, can one-shot you down from nothing. So,
yep. And he's a little bit XP-wise behind as well right now with the top lane. Techno got that level 3 as well. Yeah, almost a full level at this point.
Yeah, that is a very, very stacked wave here. Sonic the Rock should get a decent amount of XP here from this wave. But that damage coming through from Ornn, doing a very good job of denying that Garen passive, and he's not really able to regain any of that health. So definitely gotta tip your cap here to DJ Techno in this early game, winning out on these trades.
Yeah, he also has TP too, so if he took too much harass from that, it was gonna be pretty bad. But you look how confident this man is, getting a cull right now.
Wow, he builds a cull in lane.
Yeah.
Are you Diamond? Nah, you're not. I can handle this. Definitely a huge confident move here from DJ Techno, building the cull. We will see if that pays off for him in the late game.
More harassment coming here.
Kaden in the mid lane, not really able to amount to much here. Sonic the Rock drops dangerously low. DJ Techno can flash perhaps, but Sonic the Rock losing out on these trades as of right now. DJ Techno, like you said, Ornn's damage is very, very impressive. Here we go. Kaden now is fighting against Zeph. Zeph has no flash, is forced to run away. But the support here from Elena will be able to keep his jungler alive, at least for now. Oh no, yeah. DJ Techno is here though. Zeph trying to go back towards his Gromp, but DJ Techno just trying to keep him off his cast as much as he can. This does allow Sonic the Rock to at least gain a little bit of health back in this top lane, but the summoner advantage still lies with DJ Techno.
Yeah, that whole play was enabled because of Techno's been able to just slowly push over, harass the enemy laner, Sonic the Rock, and it worked out pretty well for them. That's their third flash that they've been able to get?
Second, I believe.
Second, yeah. That's it's slightly over 5 minutes, so I wasn't entirely sure, but no, we can see.
It looks like Diana's Flash will be coming off cooldown here pretty soon. But
Yeah.
here we go, Sonic the Rock still at about half health. That brittle proc doesn't really come through. Oh, he gets the level up. This is actually going to be hugely disappointing for DJ Techno. Is forced to flash away. Sonic the Rock still dashing forward. And Garrett, that is totally fair damage as that ult comes through and will take out DJ Techno. First blood going to Sonic the Rock.
That roam cost DJ Techno his XP lead, which means he didn't get the level 6, which was his huge advantage for harassment, and they didn't get that pickup from that earlier roam. So this is the perfect punish from Sonic the Rock. Coming in with Demacia, he's going to be able to stick on him even harder with his boots being unlocked, and has this dagger for even more damage off of his spin to win. So absolutely love this, and is also forcing out this teleport here as well for DJ Techno to be able to pick up the wave. Well played.
Yeah, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Sonic the Rock kept his patience and used that Garen passive very, very effectively, able to gain a significant amount of health back and catch most of the wave, get that XP, use that level 6 advantage. Well done to him. Meanwhile, on opposite ends of the map, looks like the farm is relatively even here for both sides.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to either go for some sort of a dive with a slow push into this bot side. We're seeing some bush cheese happening from Kaden. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to pick that up. There's a lot of mobility there, but Dareson's low on mana.
Looks like Kaden will just be looking to leave. He doesn't have that ultimate yet, so without the suppression, might be a little bit difficult to lock down the enemy AD carries. So as for now, we'll just opt to go back to base here. We have, meanwhile, in the mid lane, again, just a farm fest. Both mid laners relatively even as of right now. But here we go in top lane. The silence comes through. The dash comes through for DJ Techno. But here comes Zev. The ult for Demacia is not quite up. Will they be able to get the damage? Yes, they will. Who cares about early games? Sonic the Rock picks up his second kill of the game.
Techno just thinking he can keep pushing the wave there because he's strong. Well, he was winning those fights for a little bit, but it's not the case anymore. He used a lot of his advantage. He put a lot of value into that call, and because he's been kind of harassed out here now and died twice, he's getting punished for this early greed.
Absolutely. I think the cull on a tank is just not the most important thing. Again, Ornn does not really need the additional gold. Your biggest resource is experience. You want to get to level 14 so you can start upgrading these items for your team. That's the most important thing that you need when you are playing as Ornn. So I think, maybe building this call, not the best play, but we'll see if it still can potentially pay off. This game is not over. Meanwhile, Elena is caught out here. The ult comes through for Kaden. The suppression is there, and big fella Gabe actually takes a tower shot when perhaps he didn't need to. Is sort of blocked by these minions, takes another tower shot, but big fella takes a third tower shot, and the ult from Deseret will snipe an additional kill. 3 tower shots are taken. Meanwhile, DJ Techno finds himself in danger, and the power of Demacia is too much for Ornn. 3-0 in top lane.
So obviously that pickup worked pretty well in the river, but when you looked at the flash, amazing ultimate coming from Dareson, that true shot barrage just making it. They flashed into the wall. They didn't quite make it over there, so they ended up dying. And then, of course, Techno just got caught with his pants down. He's trying to get a lot of this wave control, but he's too far behind right now to be able to do that. He's 1.2, almost 1.3k gold behind, being he's 0-3 and his laning opponent is 3-0 naturally. It's not great news for him, but despite the KD difference being 4-2, it's only, 500? That's a little less than what you'd expect.
Yeah, when you look at the, the gold differences here, it's
mostly due to this bot lane, right? There's
exactly.
12
exactly. You can see about when this wave is caught, about a 15 TS lead. So definitely, farming where they need to, but we're now angling at this at this dragon here, as we can see, caught out. Big Fella Gabe does not have that flash, and it's a free pickup here for Zeph, and now that just means that OG has to run away from this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about how like this early game is going to be pretty important here, and it looks like I was right. Ooh, not a steal, but some good chunk.
That was a good try. That was a brave try, but we can see now this gold is starting to extend a little bit more, about 700 or 700 at this point. So hopefully, if you're the side of OG at this point, you want to try and slow the game down as much as you can. Play towards this late game. Try to, again, play towards more of your ornaments, your jinx, power spikes, all of that, because I think trying to force these plays in the early game just is not working at this point.
Yeah, it's okay to like concede that dragon. You're not as strong as your opponent. It's okay. Chemtech Drake isn't that great. This Hextech one is going to be a little bit more important when you consider champions like Ezreal and Jinx and Orianna and Syndra. I mean, those are champions that really like to spam their abilities and auto attack.
All right, we may get a dive here, as Desiree is dangerously low. Still will have the arcane shift, so he should be able to get away, but they're going to be zoned off a significant amount of HP here, or XP here, I should say, as Big Fella Gabe came down as well. They won't get any kills out of it, but like we said, just playing more towards preventing this Ezreal from scaling and allowing the Jinx to get some free farm here.
Yeah, the Super Mega Death Rocket not finding anything. They might be able to get this first turret or get it super low. It's pretty good news for them to get it on this AD carry, of course. There's less gold out of the plates if you did not read the patch notes from a little bit ago, so that's a little less gold, but still pretty important. She's at 4.4k gold versus 3.9 roughly, which is a good spot to be standing on. Of course, the main factor being the farm and that one kill that Derson has, really helping him get that farm differential to favor him a little more.
Yeah, but again, already down about 30 farm at this stage. Just very, very good from the Jinx here for OG.
The one flip side to this, though, is Derson does have an XP lead.
Yes, that is true. Are up level 8. I think that's just a little bit of more roaming from Saint Millie, obviously, because Ezreal is a very mobile AD carry, fairly safe to be on his own. So I think
and the level 1, right? He got to lane right away versus that did not get to lane right away.
That as well. So as we said, the game is kind of slowed down a bit here. Might not see any more action till that dragon is spawning. We can see Saint Millie up here, Saint Millie, I should say, up here as well, trying to look for some opportunity. But as of right now, looking maybe to knock down this tower could swing the gold a bit more in the direction here. As you mentioned, the gold is still relatively even here.
Despite it being 5-2, only 300 gold, that's one kill.
All right, but here comes Zeph. We might see some action here finally in the bot lane as Derson is taking a lot of heat there. The flash forward from Saint Millie. Let's say Fair now drops it dangerously low, but Elena is here as well. The flash forward, and ult is clutch, and that will be a double kill for Alf in the bot lane.
They had some pretty decent vision set up here in the bush and in the river, so they thought it was pretty safe, but the flash and the ability to engage there was just too much for them. And with 4 people, they should have known.
This is not where you want to be. Big Fella Gabe does still have that ultimate, might look for something here. The shockwave comes through, does land onto 3, but that's not going to be enough to save him. The suppression is there, so it will be a trade back. The TP is here. Kaden does potentially have the stun. The double knock up here from DJ Techno will actually get both of them, and that is going to be a shutdown here for DJ Techno. Flashes the masteries, lets us know who's boss. That is a great response there from OG.
It's obviously going to cost them a tower, as Sonic's going to get this first one there. Another 450 gold for them, which is excellent for a Garen. I do like this response, though. They kind of needed that Orm to be able to get that pickup for the extra kills, the extra gold. This has changed to 1.4k, so the gold deficit has widened against OG, which is good news for the mid-game team. Still not enough of a lead to be super definitive as the early game has come to an end. But the second dragon's coming up, so this gold is going to need to get spent. We're going to really see how this gold leverage and this macro is going to start being utilized between both teams to try and get this edge in the mid game.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, if they could just get to that late game point, I really feel like OG their comp will just outscale. So we really need to see some proactivity here from the side of Alf and see if they are able to push the leads that they do have, especially here in this top lane.
Yeah,
Still
it looks like the vision control is on the side of the red team here, so OG might just be able to get this. It looks like there's no challenge. This is excellent news for them to stall things out. Just less dragon pressure.
Absolutely. Now that dragon stacking has been stopped, going to be very, very difficult here for Alf to really make any sort of early soul play. So definitely
it's
going to be
goal too.
Yeah, that too. But I think primarily the dragon stacking is the most important part. If you don't force an early soul with a late game comp, that's so beneficial. It allows your carries to scale up even more before these fights become absolutely necessary.
Yeah, it's essentially an extra 5 minutes that the enemy can't guarantee to pressure you. And because of this early bot tower they were able to take as well, this does force the mid bot rotation here as well, so Jinx will be able to farm a little bit easier.
All right, Kaden is here. There's the suppression. The knockup is there, and that is a CC chain like you've never seen before. Zeph taken out, not even able to do anything in response.
I do gotta mention though, like that missed their zappers. Oh, is the burn gonna tick though?
He's fine. He can just walk away. He's fine.
But no barrage to come after it. That does put them out of the fight, though. They might not be able to get this Baron. They can't take it fast enough.
It's not a Baron, it's the Rift Herald, so...
yeah.
I think they might be able to get away here. No, the flash forward is there. Let's say Fair is kind of left to the wolves here, as it's going to be the sacrificial lab. Their Braum will go down, but they will be able to get the Rift Herald and escape.
That is excellent news for them, and it looks like that's going to be able to try and stop this top side. They could get dove by this Garen, who's 3 levels up here, so this is going to create some necessary pressure relief from their jungler. Might have to hover around here if they're not careful.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be looking for a dive here, especially with the shutdown gold on him. We'll likely be looking to keep that as best he can, but we will...
flash or gold ghost either. Okay, yeah.
Deseret dropping already down to half health. The shockwave is available. Here comes the Skarner. He has the orb on him, but the stun comes through from the Rel. Keeps his ADC alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, it could be potentially dangerous. He does have Ghost, so Kaden is a force to be reckoned with, has the Rift Herald as well for faster backs, and could pressure out one of these side towers or mid towers to really help open up this game, or just delay it any amount of time they can.
Yeah, now we're looking again towards this next objective with the dragon spawning in about 2 minutes. Baron will be spawning at around the same time, but I don't think either team is really in a position to take an early Baron at this stage of the game. So definitely angling for this dragon here that will be spawning. It is Mountain Soul, so very, very beneficial if you could get some of these onto your very tanky members here on OG.
I mean, or even on your bruiser too, for having right on
Diana
or Sonic. But yeah.
Who doesn't want mountain dragons in their life?
It's fantastic. I think the only other one that might be arguably better would be Ocean, just because of how many champions want to spam their abilities at range and harass the enemy.
I also still think that Infernal is the strongest, just because free damage is free damage. How can you ever pass that up?
I would say Hex is stronger than Infernal, just because of the damage that it outputs.
Dragon diversity is what we're talking about here. As long as it's not Cloud or Chem Tank, we're all fine. So
yeah. Or new Chem Tank. Old Chem Tank, different story.
Yeah, we don't talk about old Chem Tanks. That's just Renata. We just let Renata do her thing. She's the Chem Tank dragon in champion form. But meanwhile, we can see OG is starting to get that vision down with the dragon now spawning in less than a minute. But meanwhile, we have Alf, who's looking to force down this mid turret here. Yeah, you like that. We'll be able to at least farm under his turret here. But now the Ghost is pop here from Kaden is looking to dash in, but may have been a little premature, as the push away from Syndra will keep Kaden locked in place. So a Summoner spell used for essentially nothing.
Yeah, isn't going to get a whole lot of value out of that, and it's going to be down for Dragon up in 30 seconds, so this priority for the lanes is going to be pretty important. Notably, Dessen is in the top lane, which would normally be weird, but he has TP as an AD carry, so he can teleport for the Dragon fight if he needs to. But Sonic won't be able to, and with him backing here, that does suggest that Heaven doesn't want it.
It's fine in 10 seconds. He is Garen, so he does move incredibly fast with his Q, so he could perhaps get there in time, but I think you're right. Just maybe opted to give up this objective, especially with the Herald spawning, might be a little bit difficult, as the TP hasn't come through for Ezreal, so Techno will have to just respond to this in the top lane here. Does clear out the wave, and now Zeph finds himself taking many tower shots, but the turret does go down. The ult comes through. DJ Techno finds himself in a very dangerous situation and will go down. That is a big pick here with the Baron spawning. It might be a potential to look for it here, but now with the jungler Zeph chunked out, it does not look like they're going to opt in for that.
TPing to die never feels good. They did delay the tower, and if the Super Mega Death Rocket would have landed there, that would have been amazing, but unfortunately not the case.
Bush and finds two of the enemy team just waiting there for him. Does get the ult up, and it's going to be Orianna picking up the first kill and the second kill. The TP comes in, but Elena is just way too late. The flash comes through, but yeah, you like that. Will follow up with his own, and the Syndra finds herself up the creek with no paddle, and that is going to be Baron here going over to the side of OG. Potentially, they haven't gotten it yet.
Potentially. The only option that they have in response is for Sonic to do the split push, and DJ should be able to at least do some wave clear here. You like that is going to get a little low, but they just don't have the champions nearby to get it. A 22-minute Baron is pretty substantial. They have the work cut out for them, being they're down 2,000 gold, but this can really help
anymore.
That for sure. This rotation onto the top side for the pickup, very important. But more important than that is a lot of summoners were used specifically by like that. So no ghost, no flash. They're going to be particularly vulnerable right now. And Caden got the kill, not their hyper carry, which is also something that's pretty crucial that they don't have that gold. It's going to be on the tank. And he's not going to necessarily do that much damage. If you drag a target towards your backline and you don't kill them, they're that much closer.
I think Skarner's actually been doing a decent chunk of damage. You can see he almost one-shot the Diana there in that last fight. Has completed the Spear of Shojin. Yes, he is still a tank. Did pick up that Jack Show, but I still think he will be doing at least a decent amount of damage. Not
crazy amounts. It's not going to be an AD carry, but
not the amount of a Fed Jinx. Don't get me wrong, but I think he'll be doing a decent amount of damage. So definitely still need to look out for Caden on this Skarner. Definitely, I agree with what you said. Like picking these off meta, not off meta, but like not meta picks, like really runs into the issue of, hey, we have never played against this before. Speaking of, Caden does get the E onto Sonic the Rock, will get that stun, does have the ultimate if he wants to use it. The suppression is there, followed by the knockup, but Sonic the Rock is incredibly tanky. The dash forward, Sonic the Rock just doesn't care. He will walk out of that no problem at all.
Yeah, Sonic the Rock Johnson, but hold the phone. That's a Super Mega Death Rocket.
But not a lot of death, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately. But there's this mid-wave being pushed right now with the Baron buff. They're sieging here. They're getting a lot of harassment onto the enemy team. And this bot tower fell in addition. And for the first time this game, we're seeing a gold advantage red side.
Absolutely, we can finally see the sun coming through onto Caden, but the Grom ult is there, will knock up several of the enemy team. The Diana, or the Rel ult, I should say, won't save her, and that will be one kill. Make it 2 kills, going over to the Jinx. Zeph is just forced to run away, and Laissez-Faire will be there to defend the rest of his team, and that's a double kill picked up here for Yeah, You Like That.
Yeah, and it's going to look like their second tower. Hold the phone!
Techno dashes in, but he's forced to flash out immediately as he maybe underestimated the damage that still will come up from the enemy team. But they will get that mid lane turret and will have to just run away.
Yeah, Baron buff is almost coming out for them. So they weren't really able to get 2 towers here, but they have more objectives than their opposing team right now. They have more gold and more kills against a mid-game team at the 25-minute mark, roughly. This is pretty good news for them, as, you know, The Rock is going to be at their strongest comparatively at 2 items, maybe on their 3rd, and with Primordial Dawn coming out here as well. That means ornaments are on the table. We're going to start scaling and doing more damage.
There it is. The edge of finality. It will be completed here for the Jinx. We'll be dishing out a crazy amount of damage. That is why you pick Ornn. Kaden will get stunned. The TP comes through. The Ornn horn as well. But Kaden is the first to drop. And it's going to be a massive ultimate here for the 5-man knockup, and it's time to get excited. Here comes Jinx. 1 kill, make it 2 kills, and only the Rel is able to walk away.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The Rocket the combo there was all set up, but still they were still able to get 4 members. There's going to be no counter smite here, and DJ can just split push this up. We just get to see how tanky the team is. We get to see how coordinated all of their damage is. And when you can layer crowd control like this, it's kind of like sitting after a Morgana Q. You just kind of sit there, you wait for the enemy to delete your health bar, and that's what happens. This gold difference has creeped up to 3,000 gold, and they're on Soul Point with Mountain Drake. And they've got 3 tanks.
A 5-man Ornn knockup, followed by a 5-man Orianna Shockwave. Had to be the worst case scenario for Alf. They grouped up in the worst spot and got obliterated by the enemy team. That is just the most unfortunate timing that could possibly have happened for this team. And now they find themselves at a disadvantage here in this game.
You got to look at it this way. Ornn does well with terrain, and the jungle has a lot more terrain to interact with, and additional terrain constricts your movement, which makes it a lot easier to land all of these important skill shots. So clumping is kind of inevitable with how big some of these are and the repositioning tools that they have at their disposal for OG as well.
Oh, man. I mean, okay, if you are on the side of Alf, what is your game plan here? The enemy is on Soul Point. They have the late game comp. You have to make something happen now. What do you do? How do you turn the tides of this game?
I would try and do a Baron pressure. Never actually commit to it. Oh,
we got the ghost coming through, but the flash from Elena, and the push away will keep her alive for a little bit longer. And it looks like Kaden will just have to run away.
Basically, the play for me would be to utilize Baron's Gaze as much as possible and take him after that.
Oh, okay, here we go. We finally got some action here as the suppression comes through, and Sonic the Rock just has to run away, but he is the tankiest member. Meanwhile, down in bot lane, we have the Ornn just looking to split push here as the action here in top lane will settle down a little bit, but now with this Baron spawning, this has to be what both these teams are angling for at this point.
Yeah, and we do have a 3-item Jinx. The Rune Hurricane is going to get a lot of splash damage in the river, so that's going to be pretty important here. And there's a TP from Techno who can just freely split push here. No pressure coming out of the enemy team, except for maybe this flank from Sonic the Rock.
We are looking for something here. Techno does, like as you said, does have that TP if we want to make a play here, but also can just opt to push in this wave. It forces the Syndra to play a little bit more back as they are looking, and now Zeph finds herself in danger. That ult is coming back up for Skarner. Might be able to use it in this fight.
They don't need to do anything here. Oh, they finally did respond to it, so they can use their numbers if they want to now.
Yeah, Ornn is in base. Will likely look for a TP here as the engage comes through. The flash forward from Zeph. But Jinx is untouched in the backline, and she is raining fire on the enemy team. It's a double, make it a triple kill for the Jinx, and that is a huge play. Kaden will go down, but not before the entirety of his team will take out the opposition.
Gompers there really did force things out pretty well. A nice pickup there, by the way, on the spin to win.
Yeah, that's just Garen doing Garen things. Just take out the enemy support. Why not? It does force them off of Baron here with jungler, with no support. So definitely a good pickup there.
And like that is just too low for him to be able to do this with Garen being around here. And his flash is coming up in, what, 30-ish seconds. That's the other for blue side for Heaven is just trying to utilize this Garrett. He's 4-1, could force out 1 or 2 team members from the opposing team, and they have 2 teleports on their team versus the opposing team OG's 1. That's the other way to leverage, try and play that macro game, tower pressure, as a response, and just get these waves under control as well. So even if they do get Baron on the side of OG, they won't have the wave to support that, delaying its advantage even longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see this dragon now will be spawning in 30 seconds. Neither team has really established a good line of vision here, so both are walking into this relatively blind. We will see how this affects both of them, and Sonic the Rock is looking for Ornn here. Techno chunked dangerously, not dangerously low, but about halfway for Ornn, which is still a decent amount of health, so he's able to walk away.
Yeah, it's going to be able to forge an item here. They are going to have to tread carefully. Blue side did get the vision it needs, and there's a lot of long-range abilities they have to worry about.
All right, let's say will pop that Braum ultimate. No, will get a double knockup, but his team is not really in a position to respond to that. St. Millie does flash forward, and the spin to win will land onto the Jinx, but the stopwatch is there. Will keep her alive a little bit longer, but Sonic the Rock will take out the enemy AD carry. This will be huge here for Alf. But meanwhile, it's Techno Blade. It's a double kill, a triple kill. Respect the power of the Forge God. Desert is the only one left standing, but won't be for long as the knockup comes through. It's a double kill for Skarner, and they will march back to Seoul.
Oh my goodness. What a play there. I thought it was going to go a lot better for OG, but they were able to stick on to You Like That. Was not liking what happened to them there. They do have the mod to help them in the future, but they got chunked out, and Sonic was able to get a lot of value into them. Unfortunately, with the gold deficit the way it is, they didn't have the damage to get through all of that HP. And the opposing carry just was able to chunk them out, get them that gold, get them the kills, and then finally this soul for them, which is just going to be so devastating to go against.
Can you even kill Ornn at this stage of the game?
Look how big Skarner's shield is. That's what, 1,000 shield?
Oh my goodness. I mean, how do you get through this front line? You can't get through Ornn. You can't get through Skarner. It'll be difficult to get through Braum. This is going to be an uphill battle for Alf for sure.
Especially when your AD carries down an item, right? Jinx has 4 items versus Darson's 3, and one of them is a Manamura, which is a cheaper item.
I mean, at this stage of the game, it's not over yet. They're only about 4K gold down. So nowhere. This is nowhere a completely lost game. I think they have done a very, very good job with certain aspects here. Like they got their top lane ahead. They got their AD carry somewhat ahead as well. But now it's Zeph who is caught out. The stun comes through. Will it be able to get anything else? The CP coming in for the Orianna. The Braum will pick off the first member of the enemy team, and now Jinx is excited. St. Millie unable to get across the wall. It's going to be the first kill here for the Jinx. It's going to be the second kill for the Jinx. So that's 3 down on the enemy team. The backs are coming in. Will they be able to stop this onslaught of OG?
Yeah, they saw Sonic on the minion wave bot side, which just meant the biggest threat against their team wasn't able to stick on there. And they got at least inhib here, if not the game.
DJ Techno is taking up the turrets. Who needs a minion wave? Yeah, you like that is on a killing spree yet again. 10, 2, and 6 on this Jinx. She is a menace to the enemy team. Make that 11, and it's going to be OG picking up game 1.
Yeah, you said 4K wasn't a lot, and 2K at this stage of the game is usually enough to get things done. You got to think about it. An item's 3,000 gold, and if that's on a carry, that's a big difference at this stage of the game, especially with hyper carries that have an Ornn to protect them.
As we mentioned, the game got up to about 34 minutes. That is the territory that OG wanted this draft to be in, right? They wanted ornaments on their carries. They wanted Jinx to scale up, get those items, and really become a menace, which happened. Like, Jinx did not have a kill till I think like 20-ish minute, 20, a little higher than that. I'm not sure.
Something
Minutes
like
into
that.
the
It was a
game.
while.
So like again, just when you draft a comp like that, you just can't fall too far behind and you will scale into the late game. So that is very, very well done here for the side of OG. Not flawless by any means. That was a very close game, but well played, and they deserve the win here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, both teams were pretty commendable in that we saw the early game was pretty potent. They were able to punish some pretty crucial mistakes. And if they didn't do that, that would have been a significantly harder game for them. But they were still able to do it. They got a lot of value into that top side. They got some nice pickups here as well. And they were able to do some of those big punishes. And I think that's the strategy that works really well. Maybe they'll lean into that a little bit more because that really got them a lot of advantages.
Absolutely, and I'm again, like, it wasn't flawless. Like, Garen got very far ahead with 2 solo kills and an additional help with his jungler to get that early 3-0 lead, and it looked like top lane was completely lost by there. But again, credit to DJ Techno. Maybe that call was the one thing that saved him. He was able to get those items. He was able to get the gold that he needed. He got 4 ornaments onto his team. That is what you want out of your supportive top lane Ornn pick there. So I think very well done. A very entertaining game to watch. A lot of action, a lot of fighting. We love to see that. We are going to go to a quick break here, but we will be right back with game 2 between OverGeared and a little piece of heaven right after this. Welcome everybody back to Risen Esports Draft League here on a beautiful Friday night. We got game 2 here between Overgeared and a little piece of heaven. We are swapping sides here as OG will be going over to the blue side as Alf will pick red here. So here, Trombone, I have a question for you. What needs to be different here from the side of a little piece of heaven in order to force a game 3 here and hopefully punch a ticket for them on their way to the finals?
Well, Sonic the Rock was able to get a lot of value out of their pick. So them having the counter matchup here potentially could be enough to change things and really challenge things. I think Elf was able to get a lot of good counter picks in response to what OG was doing, and they were particularly vulnerable to that when they were able to just hop on and deal with them. And it looks like the Skarner is getting banned, so that was potentially also an issue last game, just because he's so awkward to deal with.
I very, very similar bands for both of these teams. We could see the Tryndamere, the Zillion, and the Aurelion Soul, all three of the same picks taken out here for OG. They don't care if they swap sides. They're still taking out these high priority picks for the enemy team. Meanwhile, it's going to be more of a target to the jungle here with the Skarner and the Jarvan taken out. Will they throw a ban towards that Jinx too? Because I really feel like, no, they will not. It's going to be towards the Echo instead.
Yeah, OG has priority pick here, so this is pretty important for any contested pick. They need to pick it right now in the draft phase, or if there's something that's just that makes or breaks teams here. So this Rel probably contested pick here, so them having it can help them get some of these more setups and picks here in response. Elf going for Milio is potentially pretty good.
So Alf taking the Rel in game 1. OG taking it in game 1. Obviously, both these teams have a priority on this Rel, but a very spicy bot lane here picked up on the other side in response. Milio Kog'Maw. That is going to be interesting to watch.
So traditionally, Milio is pretty weak to just being kind of grabbed, hooked, and everything. But because Rel's engage tool isn't super fast, it's not just like a random hook coming out of a bush here. It's pretty projected. Milio can kind of displace it and then walk away. And then, of course, Kog'Maw with an Enchantress is just good. We all have seen Lulu Kog'Maw, now Milio Kog'Maw. Should be pretty spicy. Kaylin, on the other hand, can really help with that, zoning them into Rel with those traps. And then, of course, going in there. We'll have to see if she goes with that more lethality build. I know that's pretty popular in the mid lane, and sometimes you vary a little bit in the bot lane. But overall, could potentially harass Kog'Maw enough with her range.
This makes me think that Rel will actually go into the jungle here. I don't think the Caitlyn Rel is a very common bot lane. They might opt in for something more like Lux or Morgana in the second round of draft here. Yeah. But it's going to be Sejuani. I'm not the biggest fan of this because already two of your laners are ranged, so you're not going to be able to get the full value out of that Sejuani passive. But obviously, the free press R and one of the person on the enemy dies sort of mentality is still going to be beneficial here for Alf.
I wouldn't really say it's two champions. I'd say it's like one or a half of one, because you're going to have an AD carry or an APC in the bot lane, so you're not going to have a melee one unless you go with the Yasuo strat. And then it's a coin flip if you want an engage support or if you want some more of a disengage support here. And it looks like they're going to try and respond to that with the Milio. So I think that's fine. Going with this one, you can get a lot of value and just stop a lot of engagement and set up some plays here as well. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, definitely going to be interested to see how they round out this draft with the Sejuani here. But so far the bans, Darius taken out, again targeting towards that top lane. Sonic the Rock, try to shut him down as much as you can. It's going to be Rumble on the other side. One of my favorite top laners, if I'm being honest. I think he's a ton of fun. Excuse me. But it's also going to be Nocturne taken out, so trying to limit that jungle pool even further here for Caden.
This does suggest, though, that Elf thinks this is a Rel support, because you traditionally see Nocturne in the jungle as well.
Yeah, now, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
it could be Rel support.
I mean, it's a flex pick, right? That's one of the big advantages of a good draft is you can play some mind games with the flexibility, which can force some uncomfortable bans where you're guessing because only you know what you're picking.
Are they? Oh, they're gonna let through Sonic the Rock's Aatrox. That's kind of interesting because that is by far his most played champion, at least on his op.gg. So that is interesting. We will see if the Aatrox is slammed down here for Sonic the Rock. as both his Darius and his Garen will be taken out instead.
Yeah, see, part of the thing is like Aatrox is like pretty good right now, so they have to pick someone that's not terrible into Aatrox, but they also only have one tank, and Aatrox is pretty good into that. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do because it's not gonna be Ornn. That's a terrible matchup for him.
Yeah,
Are they
it's
gonna go
going
for
to
like
be
a Fiora?
It could be something like that. Lysandra is picked up here. No, pick someone else. Just pick someone else. Not him. Just pick someone else. Someone else. Come on, pick someone else. Pick someone else. Pick someone else. Not him. Not him. Pick someone else. Just pick someone else. Damn
Uh,
it!
Not gonna cast or curse that one.
I tried. I should have gone something. Oh, they're not gonna pick Cassante or like
Yeah.
I should use the caster curse more effectively there.
Ooh.
But Cassante will be picked up here in the top lane, and Wukong is hovered, which would indicate that Rel will indeed go into that bot lane if it is locked in here.
I like this. I like this really a lot from OG. Because so far, their damage is pretty much in Kog'Maw. Yeah, Lysandra can definitely do some damage and get some good pickups as well. But a lot of the consistent damage is going to come out of Kog'Maw and with Akale and Wukong and I guess Cassante too, who can get us some nice flanks as well onto Kog'Maw. That's good news for them, just being able to just collapse onto them. So they're going to need some pretty good options to defend against this.
Yeah, but again, why do we have to see Cassante? I don't want to see Cassante. Get that champion out of here. But it is going to be Sonic the Rock on his Aatrox. So finally slips through the draft, and he will be able to pick it here into that Cassante. And we will see just how effective this pick will work out for him. It is his most played in solo queue. I think he has about a 55% win rate on Aatrox
That's pretty good.
as of right now. It is by far his most played, so we will see just how I always am under the, especially in this league, under the impression that comfort is better than meta. I think that if you are able to play a champion that you are comfortable playing, it does not matter if they are not in the meta right now, you will dominate on that champion. So I'm
Comfort
excited.
is king.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I
front
agree.
and center. I played Caitlyn all the time as my main when I played competitive league, and even when she wasn't strong, our team just did better because we had a better bot lane. So just play for comfort. That's like the big thing here. And you can even go back to last game when you think about it. They just weren't comfortable versus Skarner, and they just got to do a bunch of degenerate things. Now they have to ban him because they're not comfortable against him.
Exactly. And for the first time ever in competitive, I see a Skarner ban now because of it. So like
A Skarner win followed by a Skarner ban. Hell yeah.
Skarner has a
rework.
100% pick ban rate in this series so far. That has never happened ever. So definitely you have a point there that when you play these sorts of champions that you're more comfortable playing, you just play better. It doesn't matter if they're out of meta. Even if like Caitlyn is the worst, or I'm not saying she is right now, but like hypothetically, if she was the worst ADC, but you are a Caitlyn one trick, you will do better than the best ADC of that patch. So that will definitely, we will see if that will benefit Sonic the Rock here in this top lane. So again, looking at these drafts, take the players again, our past game, put that aside. What are you expecting to see from both these teams? Like, what do each of them need to do in order to win?
So OG really wants to get some of these picks, and they have a lot of control because they can also just kind of like jump out, get at you, and they have traps to help with that zone control. Unfortunately, traps aren't going to help them quite as much. Sejuani has a dash, Lysandra has a dash, and Aatrox has a dash as well. Means Kog'Maw will be at a little bit of a dissonance, but with the extra range, you can probably still get onto some targets. And with all the CC and her, kind of chaos they're going to be able to cause, Elf might be able to just deal with that. Elf, by the way, just kind of wants to get Kog'Maw or Aatrox. Just want to be super big and then just wreak havoc. Either Aatrox needs to be some unstoppable monstrosity, or they need to make up the best defensive wall that they can for this Kog'Maw, and or set up picks for him. So I think ultimately, Vision will be the game changer for Game 2.
Absolutely. If you can get like that, essential pick like you're talking about onto that Kog'Maw, that'll be very, very beneficial for OG here on blue side. All right, so now again, we talked about the comp. I'm sorry, my puppy is like being an absolute uh hazard right now. He's trying to tear up his bed right now. I'm just gonna let him do that. Um uh so when you have take everything into account, take the last game, the confidence boost perhaps maybe favoring OG right now, everything into account, who do you have? Are we gonna have a quick 2-0 sweep, or are we going to force a game 3 here? Do you predict?
The draft is different enough to where I can't be like, yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-0 pick. I think OG is a little bit stronger of a team overall, but Elf also seems to be in a lot more of a comfortable position, in my opinion. They still have this kind of like mid game strategy, but they have a late game fallback, and not going with that super heavy early game strategy, which is a lot harder to pull off than I think a lot of people give it credit to. And then they have some like very comfortable carries to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I will abstain from predictions this time around. I am not caster cursing another team, so I'm excited for this game. One way or another, hopefully we're gonna have a banger. We will be right back with game 2 between OG and Alf. Stick around.
to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. We have OG versus Alf in Game 2. OG takes Game 1 in very impressive fashion. We will see if they are able to replicate their success here in Game 2, or if we will have a Game 3. Remember, the winner of this game will go on to the Grand Finals 2 weeks from now for the opportunity to win the entire Draft League. So this is a very, very important moment for both these teams. Trombone, are you ready here for Game 2?
Oh, I'm absolutely excited for Game 2. I'm kind of sad we didn't get that level 1 cheese that was so teased in the Game 1, but live by the cheese, die by the cheese. Looks like we're gonna be living today.
You can't get it every game, you know. You have to take it when you can, but even the level 1 cheese last time didn't actually achieve anything. Both teams ran past each other, so
yeah. I mean, I got the Skarner gold, but yeah, you're right.
I forgot it did get a flash, so not entirely nothing, but still at the same time you have to be like, I'm hoping for some kills here at level 1.
Yeah. It wouldn't be special if it happened every game.
Yeah, exactly. So both junglers starting on their red buffs. How does this play into the early laning phase in your opinion?
Well, this does mean that Caden will be pathing towards top side, which can maybe slow down Sonic the Rock if his wave control pushes just a little bit too far and is not super well disciplined, because his jungler will be on the opposing side here. This does mean that Laissez-Faire's warding timers will have to be on point. They can't necessarily use it for the bushes that they may want to be able to do for bush control to try and get the engagements there.
I actually am not the biggest fan of Caden pathing towards topside here, mostly because Caitlyn will push in the wave, so you almost know for certain that Sejuani will be pathing towards there. She wants to get an early, she wants to give as much relief to her bot lane as she can. So if you're there to potentially counter gank with your stronger ADC early on, I think that's just a much better position for your bot lane to be in. Plus, pathing towards a Cassante isn't really that beneficial. Cassante will be a tank. He will be useful no matter what in the late game. So I'm actually not the biggest fan of this decision. I think pathing towards the bot lane may have been the smarter call here, but then again, I don't know the game plan. So they could be cooking something here that we don't know about.
Yeah, it'd be pressure mitigation to the top side, not necessarily a W. The victory condition of a gank, I mean, varies a little bit. Even if you can just like get a flash, or if you can just relieve a little bit of pressure so you're not leaking too much gold or getting too much of a gold lead somewhere, that's pretty important. But yeah, no, your side for bot side is certainly valid. The issue is if they're pushed up like you say they're going to be, there's just not a whole lot you can do there other than hope something happens so you can punish it.
Yeah, and absolutely. We can see both these junglers opting in for the full clear. They will be uncontested on their scuttles, so going to be a pretty low action early game. Not going to be fighting over any neutral objectives as of yet. We will see if they're able to get any ganks off on either lane here, as lane is pretty neutral here in bot lane and in top as well. We can see this freeze, or slow push, I should say, is developing for Sonic the Rock.
Yeah, we saw some of those traps incentivizing a lot of these engages. It looks like they're rotating towards the top side. OG is in a little bit of danger if they're not careful.
Yeah, and big fella Gabe might actually... No, he's able to run away pretty successfully, but now it's Sonic the Rock trapped between a monkey and a Cassante. Sonic the Rock does miss that umbral chains, and he's going to be dropping dangerously low. The knockup will be there for DJ Techno. The flash is not used. He knows he's gone. It's first blood picked up for Caden in the top lane.
Yeah, and this is a pretty important champion to have it on, not just because they're the jungle, but Wukong able to get like an early Sheen or anything like that is pretty devastating just because the wave clear and the amount of damage he can pump out as well. So very good news for them. And this forces out a TP, so there's a TP advantage here as well.
It's coming back, but he does have Kindle Gem. Will he be able to 1v2 this? Sonic the Rock still does have Flash. He should be able to save himself here. Doesn't even need to use it as he's able to walk away. His jungle Zeph is on his wave. He's able to delay here. This could be very, very beneficial.
Yeah, they need to get this wave under for DJ or...
Here comes Zeph. Can't be slowed as the Aftershock will do a decent amount of damage here. The Umbral Chains will land onto DJ Techno, but the Unstoppable is used there very effectively. The Flash away. Zeph will take out the enemy top laner, so it's going to be Jungles trading kills here in the top lane.
Yeah, just a little bit too aggressive there. DJ Techno was too low to be able to get that second kill. And it ultimately just took them too long. They needed to recognize, hey, the wave isn't perfect, but I have teleport, which kind of undoes that, mitigation. Plus, they had so much gold onto their jungle, 1.5k gold, which was not the case for the other side of this equation. They had that Kindle Gem, and I believe Zeph also might have backed at that stage, so it wasn't likely for them to win. The only reason it was close is because those towers.
Yeah, absolutely. But now Sonic the Rock does have level 6, but now all of a sudden DJ Techno has it as well, and the all-out comes through, and Sonic the Rock goes down because guess what? A tank can do damage.
Sonic the Rock Johnson hitting you with that Sheen. Able to get the damage. You were chunked out just a little bit too much at the beginning, and now you have a lead. You got some CS leads. You're going to be able to pressure. You have that plate. All good news.
I don't like Cassante.
you were down that early play, and then you're like, yeah, it's a tank. You'll be valuable no matter what. But it's Cassante at the end of the day. He's got the new champion syndrome where he's just kind of good.
He's the real AD carry. He's the bruiser, tank, assassin, mage.
The real AD carry is the friends we made along the way.
Oh man, I just. The whole concept of someone building full tank and then becoming someone that can do as much damage as an AD carry, just infuriating.
Like a bruiser, changing like your Ornn into like more of a Garen style where you just kind of like got him. It's good. They've nerfed him a little bit, but it's just so hard to nerf that concept. It's either good or it's not good.
I still remember like one of the early memes that came out was when Lil Nas X was like watching Cassante being made, and he's like, so you could build tank items and still solo their ADC, and then the whole community, yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, yep, that's what Cassante could do. Oh, and it's a grand old time. Meanwhile, let's be fair, poking a bit on this dragon, but Darrison and his support in Saint Millet will be able to force them off this dragon as of right now. Caden does have level 6. Might look for an opportunity here as Saint Millet is caught out. The Flash will save him for a little bit longer, but a very, very good pick there to force the summoner spell out of the enemy support.
Interesting trap position. Didn't go on where the stun was going to happen. To layer the crowd control, they just forced the Flash out there, interestingly enough.
Yeah, and so far, outside of top lane, I feel like the rest of the lanes have been going pretty slowly, but we can see already, yeah, you like that, absolutely smashing the early farm lead here in the bot lane. That's just the nature of the Caitlyn lane. She is insanely strong early with that range advantage, and until Kog'Maw gets some items under his belt, he's not going to really be able to contest this in any sort of way.
The advantage with Kog'Maw is like the W trades, plus just being able to run you down to your lane, but the issue with that is that your boy like that just kind of wants to clear your wave, and then your Q just does so much damage with the lethality. It's probably going to get nerfed in a patch or two would be my guess, just because how potent it is.
Yeah, absolutely. DJ Techno dropped about half at this point. He is pretty tanky, so hopefully we'll be able to withstand that poke from Sonic the Rock. We can see he does have his jungler towards here somewhat. The Unstoppable comes through, but it's going to be the all-out here. Will he have the damage to take out Sonic the Rock? Here we go. Cassante moment. Here comes Caden as well. The ult will come through. He does not have his dash, and it's DJ Techno picking up the kill yet again in top lane.
Cyclone just getting him with the all-out in combination. They got a lot of this value into the top side. They certainly have been winning. Look at the chunks there with the EQ headshot combo coming out of you like that. They're winning their side lanes here. And of course, they have a slight lead into their mid lane, which is pretty good news. Laning phase isn't over, but starting with a lead is starting with a lead. And it's 2,000 gold in the early game. And we know OG knows how to utilize an advantage like this.
Yeah, even when they didn't have an advantage, they knew how to utilize it in the last game. So definitely going to be exciting to see what they do with their lead. They are winning at multiple ends of the rift. Top lane is winning. Bot lane is immensely winning in the farm advantage, a slight lead in mid lane as well. But here we go. It's going to be Techno and Kaden versus Sonic and Zeph. And so far, DJ Techno is dropping dangerously low, does not have the all-out, will not be able to save him. The TP comes through, but it is far too late. Will he be able to salvage this game, fight here as DJ Techno will finally fall? The ult comes through for Akali, but it just gets negated by the blast cone, and Sonic the Rock will be able to make his escape.
Cyclone's not off.
The Zep dives back in, but the clone will keep Kaden alive, and they will just opt to walk away.
That is so interesting. They weren't able to get that off on OG. It was a good pickup by the red side, so Alpha was able to get a nice pickup. They're mitigating some of the gold disadvantage that they have, forced some roams here, so the good counter push coming out of Elena Uwu. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We could see how they're going to play around this next dragon, which will be spawning in about 2 minutes. We'll see if another fight does break out beforehand. Because I want to see both these teams getting their vision down. As we mentioned, the pick potential from both these teams is immense, so they really want to lay their vision down. As finally, Darrison is starting to... And here comes Zeph. He does not have the ult, but he does dash forward. And Darrison finally using that auto attack button of his, but it's going to be stopped here by Laissez-Faire. Darrison does drop dangerously low, walks into a trap. That's not what you want to do. And Big Fella Gabe is here to save the day. But Laissez-Faire does drop low after the Kog'Maw explosion, will not die as of yet. Zeph dives back in, and finally Lissandra is here. We'll get that first kill. The ult comes through, and Akali is taken out. But now here comes Kaden. It's going to be a double kill. Meanwhile, in top lane, Cassante doing Cassante things, and Kaden is not done. He is chasing, but Saint Malay will be able to escape. I think overall it was a 4 for 2 in favor of OG.
Yeah, it was a 4 for 2. I thought we were going to get a cross-map ace for a little bit, but ace, just you like that, ended up dying, so no ace in the hold there. They had Collector for both of those kills, so an additional 40 on top of what they already had. Massive lead for them. They're already up 1.8 gold just in the bot lane. Good stuff for them.
I mean, at this stage of the game, just Caitlyn is so far ahead. Just again, that's just the nature of the matchup. No fault through Darrison in any way. Just what can you do as Kog'Maw into a Caitlyn lane at all? Even if it's like you can't even walk up to CS. That's the whole nature of this lane early on. So definitely very, very rough here for the side of Alf. They are going to have to turn this around fairly quickly if they want any shot at forcing a game 3.
Yeah, they kind of had to force some all-ins when they got shoved under to tower, but that's just so risky with the matchup and everything. Just not particularly great for them either way, and this is a Rift Herald. Probably going to be tower, being they're already down to 2 plates.
A couple more autos. Yes, it will be the first tower taken out, but I actually don't even think this is necessarily bad, as finally Kog'Maw might be able to farm in this matchup in some way. Yes, it means that you lose a lot of pressure, especially around these neutral objectives in the dragons, but I just think allowing your Kog'Maw to have some sort of safe way to farm is a lot better at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it probably would have been better mid lane, making it a lot harder for Elena to be able to roam with the extra pressure into the mid side. But you know what? They were able to get some pressure here, and this does mean that they're going to be swapping positions with the early game being done. And you like that being in the mid lane is pretty good. You could roam with ace in the hole, not having to walk super far and help clean up a lot of these kills and get a lot of damage. And potentially as well, Big Fella Gabe can just get you into the bot side of the map.
Here comes Zeph. Let's say Fair does tank that ultimate for his ADC, and yeah, you like that. Will be kiting back. Let's say Fair might be the sacrificial lamb, but does get the triple ultimate, and now here comes Kaden. The Cyclone comes through. Will he be able to get out though? No, he will not. Actually, maybe. Oh no, he will not be going out here as he is finally taken out by Zeph, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 here in the mid lane as Saint Malay will go down as well.
Living Artillery really living up to its name, getting the damage in there. One of the big issues was you like that took out the support, which, I mean, yeah, you get a lot of value out of Milio here, so Saint Melee dying isn't necessarily the worst for them, but it also means the damage can keep hitting these oh so important targets.
And yeah, let's say Fair now less than a quarter HP. Zeph is here on a ward, so they will be able to force him back. But again, the gold lead at this point around 3K, and objective bounties are falling off, so perhaps they will be if they are able to pick up at least one more objective, we'll get that final influx of gold before the objective bounties disappear.
Yeah, it's not looking super likely. There's one thing I do want to highlight here. You mentioned that Darerson's going to be able to farm a little bit more, but it looks like they were forced to match in the mid side. So it's still going to be a little bit more difficult, especially with the mid wave being shorter. It's going to be easier for them to just go in.
All right, all out time. Sonic the Rock is taken across the wall. Kaden is here as well, but there's actually 3 of the enemy team, and Techno drops dangerously low. Is still Cassante, can still have a Cassante moment, but Kaden will be the first one to go down. And now Akali dashing in as well, but now it's a 5v3. And Lissandra ult means you can't do anything. And Laissez Faire will be able to dash out, but that is 2 free kills picked up here for Alf in the top lane.
Yeah, Glacial Prison into Frozen Tomb. You're not moving, you're just dying. Get sent to the morgue, get sent to the fountain. Do not collect 200 when you pass go.
A lot of ice used in that fight as
yeah,
it just freezes you in place. But meanwhile, DJ Techno also maybe fighting with a bit of fire here. Let's say Fair not really in a position to help. You guys are trying to 1v2 an Aatrox who's at full health and might not even be a 1v2 anymore. Saint Malay is here, as is Lissandra. Okay, DJ Techno does get the knock-up, so a lot of tower shots taken from Sonic the Rock, but that don't matter when there's 4 of the enemy team. The dash in from Zeph will try to lock down the Techno. The Cyclone will go down, but the Cyclone will not be used, and that is going to be a free tower dive. But meanwhile, here in mid lane, yeah, you like that, forcing down the enemy objective.
Man. Even with the gold disadvantage, they're still able to get a lot. The 90 caliber net just missing, so no kill combo here. That EQ headshot with the ace in the hole would have been a kill.
I don't think you win this fight, buddy. I do not think you win this fight.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. No, you don't survive a 50 BMG to the face. That's no.
Yeah, if she only had like a bow or something, you would have been fine.
Yeah, an ice bow. If it was a Freljord,
yeah,
maybe.
That's why Ashe sucks right now. Like,
yeah.
But anyway, Caitlyn definitely feeling a bit of the ADC diff as of this point. A full level up, a full item and a half, I want to say, up on his lane opponent.
It's not the full lethality build. It's going with this crit hybrid because of her headshots going with it. It's usually you see more like ghost serrated Dirk into like Yumi's ghost blade, so you can just kind of run at him. Interesting.
All right, with the dragon spawning now in 10 seconds, it is a cloud soul, so one of the boring souls that we were talking about last time. The Rel ult comes through. It's going to be a 3v2 here for a quick moment, but they will be able to make their escape. So the Rel ultimate is used, but all it does is forces them to walk away.
Forces them to walk where they have the vision control established.
Sante moment. How are you doing that much damage? How is this champion balanced? That makes no sense to me. Sonic the Rock is trying to survive as much as he can. The drag back might actually be able to turn this fight, but it's Cassante How do you ever turn that fight? The TP comes through far too late, and Sonic the Rock goes down.
Just being able to dash through a lot of his abilities, it just makes things so hard for Sonic the Rock because your hitboxes are pretty well telegraphed. It's not like you're playing Lux or something where it's just kind of like whatever, right? It just gives you a freebie.
All right,
man.
and here we go. This is not where you want to be if you are Lissandra. The Cyclone is used here. DJ Techno is slowed. The ult is used on themselves as she waits for help, but there's 4 of the enemy team and only 1 of your boys to back you up. That is not going to be enough, and Lissandra is taken out.
Get Nay-Nade. Nah. And that's going to be the tower there as well. A lot of picks have been happening. Like I said, vision's super important. We didn't see a lot on either side for the top side. And with everyone being so vulnerable with the damage happening and how easily towers can be taken and they're not safe because of how low they are, it just meant you can get collapsed on at any moment if you don't position smartly.
Absolutely, vision game is the most crucial part of this game, of this match so far. As you said, the pick potential for both these teams is insane with the Cyclone, with the Glacial Prison. Like, all of these elements on both teams ultimately are very, very pick-oriented. So,
And there's one big thing I want to highlight here. If you look at Laissez-Faire's vision score versus St. Millie's vision score, it's almost double, 47 to 27. It's pretty big. And then with the AD carry, 17 to 10. They have, what is it? It's Farsight, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, Farsight versus just the normal stealth ward. That's like a really big difference with how big the tower deficit is. They just can't afford to walk up and ward as Darrison. He really does need that Farsight to help mitigate this.
it is very difficult, I feel like, for St. Malay to really leave Darrison's side at this stage of the game just because of how behind the Kog'Maw is. So it kind of allows Laissez-Faire to really feel free to roam, get that vision. It's a lot easier for him when your bot lane is this far ahead. So definitely not the fault of St. Malay solely, I will admit. So
I think it's one of those team macro things, though,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
You talked about them being like, hey, they can farm safely into the bot lane, and then we saw them trying to do that double up into mid lane. Maybe they just really did need to stand there.
That was a full health ult, and it almost took out half his health. And the heal will keep him pretty healthy, but still, that is a dangerous Caitlyn at this point of the game.
Yep. It's a point click. It just hurts.
Game has slowed down quite a bit. Around 5k gold lead right now for the side of OG. If they win this game, they lock their place in the finals here. So definitely a important moment for them. The Unstoppable will keep Techno alive a little bit longer. The Wukong is here, but now is just opting to run away as the rest of the team will follow suit as well.
There's that far side I saw or was talking about to help them position smartly, get some of this farm as well. Looks like they're going to try and pick up that top wave gold here. Big fella Gabe might be able to just kind of get on him. It isn't a Kali with a Hextech belt, but it is a little bit risky because of that lack of vision. Looks like they might be trying to collapse on them if they stick around too long. Not too long until Dragon happens, just a minute and 30 seconds. But Baron is up at 23 minutes, and they do have a lot of gold right now, so there's a potential for them to pressure it. And everyone has backed, so they've spent the gold that they need. We'll have to see if they're going to try and pressure some of these other towers here to set up for that, or just kind of wait things out, get some more gold to just solidify that Dragon Soul for an even larger advantage. The extra movement speed just to be able to pressure these waves and walk up there faster.
Yeah, it's not the most impactful soul by any means, but still can be very, very beneficial. I mean, it's free stats. You can't ever say, nah, I don't want free stats. So
free stats, free gold, and when you're pushed out this far versus your opponent, so on the literal opposite end of the map, the extra movement speed is kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can never say I don't want the soul. Let's just ignore it. But definitely not as impactful as it potentially could have been if it was something like an Infernal Soul.
Oh man, Darrison's healing is kind of starting to stack up here, almost as that Bork just ate that ace in the hole and is at full health right now, which is good news for them.
Yeah, we will see if he's able to make any impact in this next fight. Does have that Rage Blade complete, and as you said, that Bork is next on the menu, so we will see if that really starts to play into his damage as we prepare here for the soul fight. Looks like they do want to try and contest it. They do not want to give over this soul for free. And it's going to be a big moment here for both of these teams. We have Big Fella Gabe on the flank. Zeph is in the middle of the entirety of the enemy team. And here comes the Lysandra. Will alter self. And Sonic the Rock is Aatrox. And he is tearing through the enemy team. But here comes the rest of the squad. But they are dropping dangerously low. And the Kog'Maw finally is online. That is going to be a huge fight win for Team Alpha. And they're going to pick up the dragon and stop the soul.
Yeah, that is absolutely good news. They were able to collapse on them just well enough. The Caitlyn traps didn't pick out the targets that they needed to. And that's everything that Elf needs. Next in line is going to be this Baron. It's a little bit before a lot of these people are going to be coming up online. Caden's going to be here, but they should be able to do enough damage with this Kog'Maw online. And Techno isn't anywhere to be found except for in the fountain. And you like that? Won't be able to make it here in time.
Here comes Gabe. He's going to try and stall for as long as possible for his team to make an appearance. Gabe will even be able to maybe escape here. The living artillery is trying to land onto the Akali as of this moment. Does manage to land one, but that is not going to be enough. And Caden is here, so that means that they just have to run away.
That was an excellent stall there. I was a little nervous for them, but they clearly knew the limits, and they were able to chunk people out.
Everyone's backing. That means they can just do the Baron instead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, St. Millie's ult is down, and Elena's ultimate is down here as well, and they were chunked out. So they weren't able to do the Baron fast enough, and the stall and the damage from everyone else was enough.
Zeph did not have dash and could not dash into the pit here. Meanwhile, it looks like it's just going to be a 5v5 fight, and it's going to be Cassante ulting in, but now he's in the middle of 5 of the enemy team. I don't care if you're Cassante, you cannot survive there. So they are going to grab the Baron, but they cost their top laner.
Yeah. You don't want to have this happen when you have Baron buff. That's one less person with Baron. They're getting kind of like the back timers. You can see how everything's like desynced, not from like a team lane or a team way or like a laning phase way, just where like you back and then the enemy team back. So like when people show up, if you're not going to be able to use that timer well enough, it's super awkward for you. And we've been kind of stuck at this 2K gold differential, which is pretty interesting here because you like that mid-game prowess is only going to start coming down a little bit. They got the 60% crit, and, you know, their headshot's going to be doing pretty well because they have the highest scaling at level 13, which they're level 14. They'll be able to get a lot of value out of that. But Kog'Maw is just going to get stronger and stronger with the late game versus going to be more of a plateau versus you like that.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn is still very, very fed at this point in the game. You can't neglect that. She will still do a ton of damage. Big Fella Gabe dashes in, but doesn't really find an opening there, so we'll just have to retreat here. Next objective will be spawning in those 2 minutes. It's another soul fight. They were able to delay the last one, but will Alf be able to repeat their past success? This is going to be a very, very crucial point for both these teams.
They've been able to do that right around that Baron pit as well, so I think there's a pretty good chance of that. And one of the reasons why I believe that is they got all these dashes and mobilities to ignore a lot of the defensive options that OG would be throwing at them, and they can get on top of the fed Caitlyn, which just doesn't feel good. So you either have to do a counter dive or you have to do a lot of peeling, and if you don't coordinate that and commit to the correct one, you just kind of lose the team fight.
I don't expect anyone will really want to use their big cooldowns before that objective spawns, so I don't see... as soon as I say that, Techno does pop his ultimate. Will be forced to run away, though, as Zeph has shown up in the top lane as well. So not a lot of benefits gained from this Baron. It will be falling off in about 20 seconds. And here comes Zeph. We'll be looking for that ultimate, but it will unfortunately miss. And the enemy team is just able to walk away. So now that's a huge cooldown, a huge engage cooldown now taken out. It should hopefully be up for the next dragon, but it looks like it will not, as it's on a 90-second cooldown at this point.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be the case. It's 45 seconds till the dragon's going to be spawning, and it looks like the blue side, so OG has the advantages that they need to get the vision there first, which can help them protect their carries, get a lot of the harassment, or commit to some of these fights that they might want to try and get, or just get a pick to win the soul point. Or soul, I should say, not even soul point.
Darrison now down to below half health, and with this dragon spawning in 20 seconds, that actually is very, very bad. Is now the dragon is spawning 15 seconds. They will not have their main AD carry, or their AD carry, which is their main source of damage for this fight. So they just rotate over to dragon now. I think they should be able to burst it.
Yeah, Sonic's TP will be coming like just up on time, but I don't think that's going to be enough as they don't have a deep ward for the vision that they needed.
Okay, no, actually, yeah, their ADC is back already, so they actually might be able to contest this. Dragon has started. It's already down to below half. Sonic the Rock is dashing in, and Zeph is here as well. It's just going to be a smite fight. Yeah, you like that? Already chucked dangerously low, and both the jugglers are in the pit. They are fighting the smite, and it is stolen by... And the juggler will go down as well. DJ Techno drops dangerously low, does have the all-out, and has to flash in order to stay alive, but that will be enough to save him. The ultimate comes through, and it is just barely too short, and DJ Techno will survive. But the Dragon Steal means yet again Soul is denied from OG.
Yes, so, and you asked me if they thought they were going to be able to do it, and it looks like, yeah, they have the push, and they were able to get on, yeah, you like that. And that's what really cut the damage, because what you said, their autos, it did so much to them, but the moment they have to stop autoing, because it's like, oh crap, I'm gonna die, I have to get out of here, I have to flash, I just have to use my 90 caliber net, I have to get to the other side of Dragon Pit, and guess what? Alpha has dashes, they can get over there too, and Caitlyn's is on a much longer cooldown, and she is significantly more vulnerable. The E-Cheese.
That is a lot of damage for that AD carry.
All the damage goes through, there's no nerf if there's no minions in the way. And if you cast your Q during your E, it looks like a visual bug, like they just mistimed or whatnot, but it comes out of the original position. You can also do this with Flash to kind of mind game your opponent, so it looks like they're going to fire at a different spot than where they're actually going to hit.
All right. This Baron is spawning in 20 seconds. Both these teams looks like they're gearing to make some sort of play on this top side. Right now, vision control is in the hands of OG, so we will see if they are going to be able to use that to their advantage. As of right now, this is going to be, I think, the most pivotal fight of the game. Whoever wins this next fight will get the Baron and will likely have an avenue to end the game. Flash from Kaden, and all of a sudden, the Lissandra, they do not burst her fast enough, and she will put the ult to save herself. But meanwhile, here comes Wukong, but he is instantly deleted as Kog'Maw is finally doing damage. Caitlyn will take out that Kog'Maw, but here comes the flank from Sonic the Rock. Gets one kill, and now Caitlyn finds herself in a place she does not want to be. There's two kills as Sonic the Rock is wreaking havoc on the enemy team, and now the rest of his boys are here to back him up. It's a 4v2. Cassante having a Cassante moment, is unstoppable, but is not immune to death. He will go down, and big fella Gabe will follow. That is an ace for one in favor of Team Alpha.
Very, very well done from Elf. There's a couple of things I want to point out. You like that wasn't able to get some traps on the glacial entombment that happened from Elena and some of these other stall tactics that ended up happening. So no headshots came of that when they were under self-CC. And then, of course, the flank, the infamous flank from the Bruiser. The World Eater, Sonic the Rock, was able just to get through on the back line, kill them, and their team was able to clean up the rest of the kills because they didn't have a Caitlyn shooting at them. It's a win. It's a good W. And this is why, during the draft phrase, I said I was in a slam dunk for OG.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, now that their ADC is finally coming online and doing the damage that they need, and the Aatrox is sufficiently distracting the main damage on the enemy team, just avenues that they had in the early game that were working so well for them are starting to fall off here for the side of OG, and they need to make some changes really quick if they want any chance of winning this game.
Remember at like six minutes when I said Kaden had that first kill? Look at them now. They have one kill. They're 1-5, right? That big lead from that cheese in the top side, they didn't get any on the jungle, who had that first blood, and then Techno is 4-6-4, so has gotten mitigated value out of what they wanted, and we're almost up to a 700 gold shutdown on Sonic, the highest value you can get, who has a 50 CS lead versus his laning opponent. Exactly what he wants.
I mean, he did go down. He was 0-4 at one point, but now is flexing that comfort pick in the top lane. As we said, if you are put on a champion you are comfortable on, you will do generally a lot better than you otherwise would. So we will see if they're able to push their lead in this game in any way, as it's going to be very, very delicate here for the next while. And I just think right now the advantage solely lies with Alpha, and how they are able to play will determine the rest of the game.
Yeah, I absolutely love this this dragon play, trying to put them on soul point, because they kind of want to not be there, which means that. Ooh.
Kaden is caught out, but Zeph is alone as of right now and not really able to do enough damage to take out the Wukong. And now it's DJ Techno trying to dash away. The Unstoppable will keep him alive for a little bit longer. Kaden now finds himself in the middle. The enemy team is forced to use the Cyclone in order to escape. Sonic the Rock has not found the ADC yet, does flash forward, and now the chains will pull. Yeah, you like that back, but it doesn't matter. DJ Techno will take out the Lissandra. The stopwatch will keep the Akali alive for a little bit longer, and the Cassante will drag back the Aatrox, and he will go down. It's a triple kill for the Caitlyn, but now Zeph is taking out the enemy mid laner, and as of right now, it's a 4 for 2 in favor of OG.
There's no more Baron buff there, and we got to see those traps position the enemy, the Sonic the Rock, who just wasn't able to get on top of that and was stuck between a rock and a hard place right there. It's exactly what they needed. Oh, shot.
Hey, well, that's an ADC down. The dragon is still alive. We have not taken that. You guys are tanks. You do not have the damage to take out this Sejuani at this point. She is burning down to about half health, but they are about a quarter each. It's going to be a very interesting fight here. DJ Techno, the Unstoppable is there, but it's too late, and it's a level 18 Sejuani, and the TP from the Lissandra will take out their opponents. I didn't even realize how fed this Sejuani was at this stage of the game.
They're certainly not bored, I'll tell you that. Being 11-2, holy cow.
That'll be back-to-back dragons here for the side of Alf. But I mean, after this last fight, I do have to say this game is far from won on either side. This next dragon will determine the soul. But at this stage of the game, I feel like whoever wins this next fight will have the decided advantage and perhaps an opportunity to end the game. There's only 1,000 gold difference at this stage. That is negligible at 37 minutes into the game. So this could really go either way.
The only thing that matters is who that gold is on and when they die, because as the game gets longer and longer and you get more and more XP, it's going to be longer for your death timers, so easier to punish some of those big mistakes. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds until this next Baron is going to be happening, which is probably going to be about the timer for the game. So I'm predicting like a 44-minute game right now, provided that they do it right on the spawn. But it's going to force out a big fight, because that's game winning right there.
Absolutely. We will see how both these teams pilot their champions around this objective here. Almost everyone is nearing that end level mark, but obviously Sonic the Rock level 18, their jungler level 18, no maxed out levels on the other side. So I think primarily this advantage lies as of right now with the side of Alf, and we will see if they're able to transform that into a Baron, potentially a game-ending play here.
Yeah, XP deficits are really, really hard. You can get shutdown gold, but you do not get shutdown XP. Which just means you have less scalability. Of course, with the game going longer, once you hit 18, it doesn't widen.
Oh no, the ultimate coming through from the row, and DJ Techno will take out Sonic the Rock. And meanwhile, Laissez-Faire drops dangerously low, and he will be taken out by the Cogbar. And meanwhile, they are marching further in, but the play here from OG will turn this fight back around, and it's going to be Zeph perhaps taken out, maybe not, and it will be a shutdown taken out by Big Fella Game. The ult comes through, and the Oh, I thought he was gonna do a bit more damage before jumping into the stopwatch, but it's Big Fella Gabe pushing in. They have taken out 2 of the enemy team, including the jungler, and that means they're gonna march their way over to Baron.
Yeah, like what, 50-second plus death timer right now. Baron's hopping up in 5 seconds. It's 20 seconds before Sonic's going to happen to be revived. There is a ward if that doesn't get taken out for them to TP and try and chase. Well, it doesn't look like it's spotted at all, but it's 30 seconds for their jungler, and that's not enough time for them to be able to outsmite this at all. Holy cow.
This is an exciting game, no matter who ends up on top here. It is a back and forth affair, and it is going to be an exciting time to see who comes up on top here. And right now, OG are in a prime position to end this game.
And the other thing is that the 1K deficit for OG is now a 1K advantage for them as well. I gotta also mention, You Like That is stacked out right now. They have everything that they need, and if they don't have an Elixir of Wrath, they certainly can buy one with the gold that they have. I don't think they have one active. They do have one active. It's got another like 3 minutes left on it with the Baron buff, which also provides additional stats. Let's see if they can siege out this mid. Sonic the Rock is going to try and trade some of these towers here, and it looks like there's also a Guardian's Angel on Dresden as well. Not necessarily great versus lethality Caitlyn, because you can just place a trap and then auto attack them.
I generally try to avoid going stopwatch or Guardian Angel whenever you're into a Caitlyn, but I mean, it could save them if they are able to take out the Caitlyn and then you take it out, so it definitely can still be an advantage depending on the situation. But right now, they are forcing their way into the enemy base. They have taken out the first inhibitor. The tower will follow soon after. Sonic the Rock takes a little bit of poke and will just have to walk away. The siege power of this Caitlyn comp with a Baron is intense. This inhibitor stands no chance.
It just wanted the wave clear. Right, like Sonic the Rock has the most AoE other than maybe this Kog'Maw, who just like one-shots a lot of auto attack super fast.
They do generally have decent wave clear with the Lissandra, but against Baron mid is just not enough to even have a chance here. But like as soon as they leave, it's obviously
it's fine, right? You're a late game champion, right? You can just kind of like one-shot waves at level 18 with a lot of them unless they're super well stacked. This does make things like super awkward for them with double inhib being down. Dragon is happening, and there is a TP coming out of Big Fella Gabe. Probably not deep enough for any cheese to happen, but that threat is looming while this is all open.
Oh, there it is. There's the ward. It's going to be a flank here for the Akali. Alf have stopped the last 3 attempts to get the soul here for the side of OG. They have it with themselves to do it a 4th time. Here comes Big Fella Gabe, has already almost taken out the Lissandra, and she will go down. Sonic the Rock in the middle of the enemy team is ulted by the Cassante, and he will go down. It's a double kill, picked up at the backline for Kaden, and they all are going to die a 5 for nothing. OG will win this game and will punch their ticket into the grand finals.
Excellently played there. The flank is exactly what they needed to create chaos amongst the other team. Sonic could wreak some havoc there, but the Flash and Cleanse was opened by You Like That. Just enough to stop things out, win things out, and just take the game. It was so fun to watch this. They almost set themselves up for a reverse sweep, but in the end, it did go over to OG.
OG takes this series 2-0, but I think that is a bit misleading in the sense that that was an insanely close series. Both games, they went back and forth each time. I think both teams played excellently. Yeah. Either one of these teams could have easily found their way to the finals, and I just excellently played by both. But it is OG OverGeared who will find themselves locked into the grand finals, and it's going to be a little piece of heaven who have to fight for that one more time in order to make it there.
Yeah, just looking at these endgame stats, you kind of saw how potent some of these champions were. You Like That did 70,000 40,000 damage this game. Of course, it was a 43-minute game, but the next highest is 42,000 by your favorite champion,
Why
Cassante.
does Casante have the second most damage in the game? Like, anyway. that was a Cassante moment for me. But
yeah, absolutely. The theme has changed. Just wasn't enough on that Aatrox. It was a good idea. I thought it was excellent. They were able to tank things out for sure. But in the end, obviously, it just went over to OG. Both teams played this super well. The positioning, the setups, the macro from both teams. Both teams leveraged their advantages. We saw Alpha just leveraging that jungle for an advantage to try and get every lead that they could. In the second game, it was abundantly clear who was going to be the stronger jungler this game.
I mean, Zeph definitely had an immaculate game on that Sejuani. I think going 11-2 at one point or something like that. Like, that was pretty insane on a tank jungler, especially. So definitely have to give credit where credit's due. I think Alf really put up a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh yeah.
think this is evident to the fact that both these teams deserve to be here. They deserve to make it this far into the season, and Alf is not out. They still have a chance. They could potentially rematch in the grand finals against OverGeared, who will be there already. But 100%, I really think that Alf does have a good opportunity to. If there was a potential rematch between these two teams, I wouldn't even say OG's definitely got it, because they too owed them in the winners bracket. I think these teams are very evenly matched. It was a very, very well fought game on both sides.
And that like Skarner cheese might not work too in the finals. It would be very hyped to see a revenge matchup grand finals. That would be amazing.
But okay. If you had to give, we are going to hop into an interview here pretty quick, but before we do that, really quick, if you had to give series MVP, I guess I could say, who would you give that to?
I think it has to be like that. They were able to get a lot of setups there, but Gabe is also such a close contender. They were able to stall that one Baron play so that the Elf wasn't able to get it. They were able to get a lot of those big, juicy Oriana ultimates as well. But I think you like that damage output when picks were just slightly better.
Absolutely. So, speaking of, yeah, you like that, I think we have just pulled them in here for an interview. So, hello. Welcome to Risen Esports caster desk. First of all, congratulations on the victory. How do you feel?
Feeling pretty good. Never been this high up. So excited to play in the finals in I think a week or two.
And it said 2 weeks actually. We have the loser bracket finals next time to figure out who your opponent is. But you guys have already punched your ticket into the grand finals. So, coming into this, I think the two teams very evenly matched. They were very, very entertaining games. Both of them, honestly, very fun to watch. What was your guys' mindset, coming into this? Like, what was the game plan originally? Did you guys have to change it? Like, what was your guys' mentality, coming into this series?
Well, I mean, if you look ranks wise, like their top jungler, they're obviously like their highest ranked players. So as long as we can contain the snowball in top lane, then we were just gonna steamroll them bot. And I think if you guys saw in game two, like we just held a permanent freeze on them, and I was up 70 CS. Like,
oh yeah,
early game, like they couldn't do anything, and we know that their jungler plays around top, which makes sense, right? So if our top lane, and he's like getting solo kills and shit, like if he can just contain him, and he did a great job of it, like we were just gonna win, and that's when it ended up happening. The game two was a little scary, but I think
that was gonna be my next question. That was gonna be my next question, because I was around one of the dragons. I think their second or third dragon, where you guys got aced, and at that point the gold graph was then evened up. So what was the game plan change there to kind of stem the tide and then retake the lead and eventually win the game? So like, what was the mentality there?
I guess like the issue that we realized coming in is just that the Wukong is our answer to the Milio Kog'Maw, but the Wukong itself doesn't have as much gold. Same with the Akali. Lissandra's creating too much AoE for us to go in, so we needed a way to kind of like slow down the fight, play like a little bit more like CG, like give me time to set up traps.
Mhm.
And mostly like I think after one of the drags, I just misposition horribly, and I just get like caught out by like the three of them.
Yep.
So once I get my shit together, we start winning after that.
I've seen this time and time again where like you'll have this like big AD carry, but it's like, man, you have these like all these dive champions with mobility and whatnot. Like, was that ever like scary in game two with like the Lissandra and everyone else, and the Aatrox was just trying to stick on you as much as they could?
The only issue really was the Aatrox. The
Mhm.
Lissandra was really telegraphed, and the moment I saw the Lissandra E come out, I could just put down a trap, and she
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. The Aatrox would have been scary if the Aatrox had better TP flanks, but
Mm.
we kind of maintained control towards the end. I mean, let's forget about what happened between the last like 3 dragons before the end, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, we were able to in the last fight we were able to obtain like complete like vision control, and if they had done a successful TP flank on us, then we would have probably lost it. But their front line couldn't kill me fast enough, and our mid a top laner just killed their back line, so we were good.
Yeah, the
Uh,
cleanse at the end was very clutch.
I thought cleanse was kind of coming into the game, and I was very
No, no,
glad that I took it.
no.
I was very glad.
and to Lissandra Sejuani, I think cleanse is like
I thought like
pivotal at
it
this
was
point.
worth buying like a QSS and going for something a little bit more lane dominant, like a ghost or a heal. Because I think in one of the fights where they started coming back, the Cogbot kind of like just ghosted on me, which
Mhm.
I couldn't really escape from. Maybe if I ghost, I could kind of like kite him out with and like start placing traps. You know, like kite out the Sejuanis. It was either ghost or cleanse, but yeah, cleanse ended up coming in clutch here.
Yeah, very, very well played. My last question for you. If you had to give, so actually, before you came in, Trombone actually listed you as our MVP for this series. But if you had to give it to another one of your teammates, who do you think really augmented your guys' game and really helped you carry you guys to this win?
Now, this might be a bit biased, but I would give it to Lazy, actually, my support.
Mhm.
I think from our practices, he stepped up like quite considerably. We're playing lane like really well. Like I love the fact that he like walked up aggressively towards Emilio Cogball, because otherwise we couldn't really maintain that freeze, and he just applied constant pressure. So I think he did an absolute fantastic job.
Yep.
Yeah,
And he had a lot of good vision control over his
Oh yeah,
laning opponent too. Like there was
absolutely.
almost double at some points.
Yep,
So yeah,
and he had
no.
fantastic callouts too, like making sure we kept our head in the game. He was really pivotal for our victories today.
all right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, you like that for joining us here for this post game interview. Congratulations on the victory, and we wish you the best of luck in finals.
Thank you so much.
All right. So for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us here. That is all we have for you guys tonight. Here for Risen Esports. Any final shout outs you want to do, Trombone, before we sign off for the night?
Make sure to follow so you can watch that grand finals. Don't want to miss it, as we saw very exciting matchup.
Absolutely. Please sure you guys drop a follow here so you guys will be able to catch the finals happening in 2 weeks here in Risen Esports Draft League Friday nights. That is all we have for you guys tonight. It was a very exciting time to be here. Happy to be a part of it. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe and enjoy yourselves. Have a good weekend, guys.